What happens if you take one spell, and then another spell, and put them together? Well, let's find out. Starting off, we have the first combo that I like to call Murder of Crows, and that is the combination of Find Familiar spell and Flock of Familiars. This is a really surprising combo that always ends in a laugh when you pull it out. Find Familiar is arguably one of the most popular spells in the entire game, effectively granting you a little pet that follows you around and obeys your commands. But a nice little feature of Find Familiar that a lot of people don't realize is that you can actually cast spells through your familiar as long as you're within 100 feet of them, and that spell is a range of touch. And what spell just happens to be a range of touch? Flock of Familiars. Flock of Familiars does effectively what you would think it does. It summons 3, or technically 2 other familiars with this combo. So consider this. You have your little owl familiar, or rat familiar, whichever you prefer, I guess. Anyways, you send your little familiar buddy to perch right next to your unsuspecting victim. You then cast Flock of Familiars through your familiar, and bada bing, bada boom, you got a Murder of Crows pecking the heckin' out of that poor bastard. The effectiveness of this combo kind of highly depends upon what kind of familiar you have, but realistically speaking, you could pull this out with any kind of familiar. But to be frank, it's probably one of the most effective and also the funniest combos I've ever listed to date. So if you do happen to have a little familiar buddy, consider picking up Flock of Familiars because honestly, everybody needs a friend. Moving on to our next combo, this is one that I like to call Mental Ruin, and that is the combination of Mind Sliver and Bane. Mind Sliver is a cantrip that drives a spike of psychic energy into the mind of a creature you can see. That creature must make an intelligence saving throw or take damage and suffer another debilitating effect. Specifically, the real reason we take this spell is because if someone fails that intelligence saving throw, the additional debilitating effect is that they need to subtract 1d4 from their next saving throw. And considering intelligence saving throws are statistically the worst amongst all monsters in 5th edition, this is an incredibly powerful spell, specifically for a cantrip. Couple that spell with Bane, and this combo is printing money. Or experience. Yeah, that one. Bane allows you to choose 3 creatures that need to make charisma saving throws or be cursed. Whenever a cursed creature makes an attack roll or a saving throw, they must subtract 1d4 from their roll. If someone falls prey to the Mental Ruin combo, then they will have to subtract at least 2 from their roll, and at most an entire 8 subtracted from that saving throw. For the math nerds out there, that is a 10% to 40% chance increase that Mental Ruin will cause that target to fail their next saving throw. There's no need to check my math, trust me. Actually, please don't check my math. So make sure you prep the Mental Ruin combo if you want to ruin your enemy's day. For the next combo, we actually have something a little bit different because it combines a spell with an item. It's something that I like to call the Blooming Amulet, and it brings together the spell Wither and Bloom with a periaptive wound closure. Wither and Bloom is a newer spell in 5th edition and is one of my favorites. It's a little unique on how it functions, and that's kinda why I love it. You invoke both life and death within a 10-foot radius sphere, and every creature that you choose in that sphere takes damage based on a con save. So that's the death aspect. What about the life aspect? Well, you can choose one creature within that sphere to roll 1 hit die and regain that health. And that's what's unique about this spell. It's an area of effect spell that deals both damage to enemies as well as heals allies, or at least one ally. But 1 hit die isn't really all that impressive of a heal, which is why we want to make that better. And we do that with the other piece of the combo, the periaptive wound closure. While attuned to this necklace, when you roll a hit die to regain health, you effectively double that number. So when you cast Wither and Bloom on someone with this combo, it doubles the effectiveness of the heal aspect of the spell. So if you pull this combo out with someone who has a +4 constitution bonus, like maybe a barbarian, you guarantee heal them at least 8 hit points, which is nearly an entire dice worth of healing alone. And that's not even considering the dice roll. So if you do get your hands on a periaptive wound closure, carefully consider who should hold on to it. For the 4th combo on the list, we have arguably the least exciting one for today, but nonetheless incredibly effective, and one suggested by a long-term supporter of the channel, William. It's called Silenced Knock, and if you could not guess from the name, it combines the spells Silence and Knock. I suppose we should start with knock. You can choose one object within 60 feet of you that you can see, and that object immediately becomes unlocked or unblocked, whichever applies. You can target doors, chests, manacles, a lock itself, or anything that is really having its access prevented through any means. Effectively, it allows you to open nearly anything. The one downside to this is that when you cast the spell, a loud knock emanates from the target object. A loud knock that happens to be audible up to 300 feet away. So as far as stealth is concerned, it is probably the least stealthy option for opening a blocked or locked object. But that is where silence comes into play. Silence creates a 20-foot radius sphere where no sound can be created within or passed through, which means that if you cast silence on top of whatever object that needs to be opened and then cast knock, there is no sound. So while knock is arguably the least stealthy way of opening a door, silence knock is arguably the most stealthy way of opening something. So if you ever need to access somewhere all sneaky like, make sure you pull out the silence knock to put the cocky rogue in his place. And finally, the last combo for today includes one of my favorite spells alongside one of my most hated spells. I call this combo Sanctified Armor, and that is a combination of Sanctuary and Armor of Agathis. Don't get me wrong, both of these spells are great, but as a DM, I hate Sanctuary with a burning passion that rivals the fury of an exploding supernova. But why, you asked? Well, Sanctuary wards creatures against attacks, making enemies have to second guess themselves whenever they declare an attack against that target. Effectively, when a creature decides to attack a creature with Sanctuary, they need to make a saving throw, and if they fail, they either waste their attack or they have to attack another target. Armor of Agathis, on the other hand, creates a layer of frost over the caster and acts like armor, granting temporary hit points and dealing damage to anyone who attacks them with a melee attack. Now you may be thinking this doesn't necessarily make sense, seeming as how you want people to take damage from Armor of Agathis, and Sanctuary prevents people from attacking that target. But this combo really has two potential uses. If you have a tankier user with Armor of Agathis, then you can use Sanctuary on the person standing next to them. While it seems kind of silly, if you had the option to attack two targets, wouldn't you choose the target that wouldn't damage you back? I know I would. The other option is to have your squishier user with Armor of Agathis then use Sanctuary on them rather than on someone else. Since Armor of Agathis provides temporary hit points, it effectively creates a second layer of protection on the off chance that the enemy does get past their protective Sanctuary spell alone. So really, the combo is an easy way to deal some extra guaranteed damage or provide some extra safety to a squishier member of your team. And any combo that has dual purposes is a good one, right? Anyways, that does it for 5 super powerful combinations in D&D 5e. As always, I wanted to end this video with a huge thank you to our patrons. Honestly, they're really helping me pump out content that you all get to enjoy, so if you see them in the comments below, be sure to thank them. If you want to support the channel, go check out our Patreon link in the description, or join our members channel, which apparently is a new thing on YouTube. Patron and members get access to all of our homebrew items, our NPCs, and special roles in our Discord. I have left a link to both of them in the description below, or just hit the join button. Honestly, it's new to me, I don't know, we'll figure it out as we go. Also, if you have a favorite combo, leave a comment below and let me know. I read every comment, almost always reply, and who knows, I might even feature your comment in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on Friday.